This time, the allegations are against Louis C.K.
But Louis C.K.'s accusers say he abused his power.
Louis C.K.'s movie premiere was abruptly canceled.
FX cutting all ties. HBO and Netflix also dropping him from upcoming projects.
The rumors about Louis C.K. have been running around for, at least 5 years ago.
It's kind of crazy, bro. I don't really know what to think about.
Louis C.K. is a beloved comedian who's been doing stand-up comedy for over 30 years. But his life's work nearly blew up in front of him when he faced intense cancellation attempts in 2017. His name was publicly tarnished and used to highlight all things wrong with men in comedy. However, Louis C.K. did not let this cancellation end his career. He rose up against the cancelers and ended up destroying all his critics. So, in this video, I'll show you the great comeback Louis C.K. made and how he single-handedly defeated cancel culture.
He was 100% wrong. He did own up to it, and I think he will definitely be back.
Louis C.K. is a very decorated and well-respected comedian. He's won 3 Grammy Awards and 6 Emmy Awards, but he has a very controversial style of comedy.
I went to the park today. I like going to the park because I can masturbate without my wife bothering me. I'm not condoning rape, obviously. You should never rape anyone. Unless you have a reason, like you want to fuck somebody and they won't let you, in which case, what other option do you have? How else are you supposed to have an orgasm in their body if you don't rape them? I mean, what the fuck?
How do women still go out with guys when you consider the fact that there is no greater threat to women than men? We're the #1 threat to women. Globally and historically, we're the #1 cause of injury and mayhem to women. We're the worst thing that ever happens to them. You know, it's really sad about men that we can't have a beautiful thought about a woman that isn't followed by a disgusting thought about that same woman. We're not capable of it. That's how our brains work. She's an angel, and I want her to drown in my cum.
He would talk about how men are these creatures that have these irrepressible impulses that are clearly unpleasant for women to deal with.
Oh yeah, what the fuck is wrong with me?
His appearances on talk shows also highlight the polarizing aspects of his character.
And I look at things that I know are gonna upset me. You know, I guess I just like the hit from going, oh!
Yeah.
You know? Like I'll go on my computer and I'll like Google an image that I don't want to see. So then I see a whole wall of it.
Yeah.
You know, like big dicks with nails in them. She's trying to bite me and I'm trying to save her life.
Yeah.
So I'm punching her in the face and splashing this stuff. I'm holding her lip open. I'm going, kicking her in the stomach. And I look and there's hundreds of people on the sidewalk just horrified.
Yeah.
There's cars stopped and they're honking at me. Leave her alone!
However, it was not his controversial comedy or statements on talk shows that got him canceled. Instead, it was another side of Louis C.K. that you don't see on stage.
News this morning about the comedian Louis C.K., who has come out to say that the accusations against him are in fact true.
In 2017, 5 women came forward and accused Louis C.K. of sexual misconduct, and one lady actually spoke on the news about it.
I was walking to set to shoot my scene, and he approached me and got really close to my face and said, "Can I ask you something?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Can I masturbate in front of you in your dressing room?"
And to make matters worse for Louis, another woman made a statement about it.
Comedic partners Dana Min Goodman and Julie Wolof telling the New York Times in 2002 they were invited into the comedian's hotel room for a nightcap. He proceeded to take all of his clothes off and get completely naked and started masturbating. Goodman says, "We were paralyzed."
As you can imagine, this was terrible for Louis C.K., and his career started to drastically decline due to this. He first lost his upcoming Netflix special, and then
Louis C.K.'s movie premiere was abruptly canceled. An appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, canceled. His show on HBO streaming services dropped. And FX, which airs another Louis C.K. show, is reviewing the matter.
Now, with the overwhelming evidence and allegations, Louis C.K. had no choice but to own up and apologize.
Well, actor and comedian Louis C.K. is now saying that the sexual and misconduct allegations against him are true.
Saying in a statement, "At the time, I said to myself that what I did was okay. But what I learned later in life, too late, is that the power I had over these women is that they admired me.
and I wielded that power irresponsibly.
By now, Louis' public image was completely destroyed. His career was falling apart, and he couldn't do anything to stop it. And it only got worse for Louis as people began to realize this had been going on for over 15 years.
2012, there's the Gawker blind item that said this famous comedian masturbated in front of people. Most people were assuming it's Louis. I would hear this comedian knows who the women are.
Despite this article, Louis continued to make jokes about masturbation in front of audiences.
One time I was jerking off. This is another aging thing. I was jerking off and I looked at my penis and it was blurry because you're supposed to get reading glasses when this becomes blurry, and that's the precise fixed length.
However, a few years later, Louis got called out again.
In 2015, Gawker then elaborated with another report from an anonymous tipster who reported that he had emailed Louis C.K.'s website to say, it's messed up that you're doing this, you shouldn't, and then Louis C.K. called this person directly.
But Louis didn't change anything. He did SNL the day after, where he played around with controversial subjects.
When you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it, which you can only really surmise that it must be really good.
This frustrated many females in comedy who witnessed or knew what Louis was doing in secret, so they started to talk openly about it.
So I got a call from my agent before this, and has some pretty bad news. Turns out I've aged out of both being able to play Mark Maron's girlfriend on an episode of Maron and getting jerked off in front of by Louis C.K.
A very famous comic. He is probably at Cosby level at this point. He is lauded as a genius. He is basically a French filmmaker at this point. New material every year. He's a known perv.
This started to get traction, but powerful forces were opposing these claims, including Louis himself.
Louis was directly asked about these rumors in 2016 in an interview with Vulture. And so first he said, that's nothing to me, that's not real.
Louis then took it one step further.
Louis was premiering this film. There was a lot of buzz about it. You know, he was a beloved character.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. Hey, China.
It starts with this teenage girl walking around in almost next to nothing, and
This was the final straw, and his accusers refused to stop. So with the help of the New York Times, they directly confronted him.
For Louis, one of the incidents of sexual misconduct involves two comedians, Dana Min Goodman and Julia Wolof, who told us that you invited them back to your hotel room, asked if you could take out your penis, then take off your clothes and masturbate in front of them. How do you respond to this? Rebecca Corey told us that in 2005, while she was appearing in a TV pilot with you, you asked if you could masturbate in front of her. How do you respond? Abby Shackner said that in a 2003 phone conversation, she could clearly hear you masturbating as the two of you spoke. How do you respond? At the Chris Rock show, a female coworker said that you masturbated in front of her in your office on a workday while colleagues were on the other side of the door. How do you respond? The women we spoke to say that you have put them in an untenable situation, that they felt used by someone they saw as a gifted comic and a major figure in their field. Tig Notaro suspects that you released her album to shore up your reputation and distract from rumors about these incidents. What is your response to that? And we never got a reply.
Then came the cancellation in 2017 and rock bottom for Louis C.K.
He got caught, the man got caught.
It's just gonna suck. Yeah. Nature really helps, going out and seeing the world, the earth.
Yeah.
Like dirt.
Despite this great cancellation attempt, Louis was fortunate to have an army of comedians with massive audiences backing him the whole way.
I understand that people are upset about what he did, but he did not sexually assault women.
One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word. Louis C.K. was masturbating while I was on the phone with him. Bitch, you don't know how to hang up a phone?
Even females came to Louis' defense.
Don't run out the room and go, excuse me, you don't talk to me that, you don't do that to me, excuse me, and leave. But you stayed around because you're like, well, I thought maybe he was going to give me a writing job. Well, you ain't nothing but a hoe.
After nearly a year away from comedy, Louis C.K. initiated his comeback.
I'm 42 and I look like this. I don't give a shit. I never really, it's not like my looks are going, like I ever depended on them for anything. I never gained from the way I look.
Louis made an unannounced appearance at the Comedy Cellar.
So I put him in. He did fantastic.
He calls me. He says, what do you think? I said, yeah, put him on.
After that evening, the backlash was just unbelievable.
Uncomfortable, disgusting, and frustrating. That's how two women in attendance described the atmosphere during Louis C.K.'s surprise stand-up comedy set.
While some of Louis' fans enjoyed his performance, others were still outraged. But crucially, Louis still had support from very important people.
Hello, police. Yes, I am on the other line with comedian Louis C.K., and I think that he is masturbating while I'm on the phone. You know what the police are gonna say in Atlanta? Well, what are you guys talking about?
Don't you think the guy has suffered enough? Like, when is he suffering enough? You see this lack of empathy with people where they don't even want to respect that he's a human being. They don't want to appreciate any of his old work. They don't want to. They don't have anything that he could do that would make them just go, all right, well, I know you're not going to do that again. And you seem like a reasonable person.
From 2018 to 2020, Louis continued performing stand-up across America, rebuilding his career and reputation by entertaining his core fan base. He eventually got tired of performing in the shadows, so in 2020, he made a bold move. Louis decided to release a comeback special in 2020 titled Sincerely, specifically addressing the 2017 drama.
My thing, I don't know what the fuck. People are like, why do you want to do it anyway? Okay, I don't know. I like jerking off. I don't like being alone. That's all I can tell you. I get lonely. Where is everyone? It's just sad. I like company. I like to share. I'm good at it too. If you're good at juggling, you wouldn't do it alone in the dark. You would gather folks and amaze them.
This was Louis' signal to the world that he was over the cancellation, even if his critics weren't. He was back, and he wouldn't let anyone stop him. He then went on to make an even bolder move in 2021.
Michael Jackson, wonderful music, blessed us with wonderful music, did some other things too. What's worse, a pedophile who makes beautiful music or one that doesn't? No pedophiles is not on the menu.
Louis released a second comedy special titled Sorry on December 18th and performed it at a sold-out Madison Square Garden. Then followed it up when he
announced a comeback with a 30-city stand-up tour. The former star of TV comedy Louis announced dates on his website starting in mid-August in New York. The shows will run through to December, and he will also perform in Europe in early 2022.
Louis was now performing and letting the whole world witness his magic again. He appeared on the Your Mom's House podcasts and revealed how he beat the cancellation.
Was that I just didn't think there was danger in the world somehow. So now I do, and that's changed me a little bit. But on stage, that's holy. That's a holy place for me. And I do think I got that back.
Later, in a flagrant appearance, he revealed how he managed to maintain his core fan base when Netflix and HBO dropped him.
If Ticketmaster and Live Nation sell your tickets for you, they get those emails, they get those contacts, they have control over your audience. But if they come, I have an email list that's people that have been coming to my live shows and buying my specials since way back.
Louis was very smart to collect the emails of his fans because this allowed him to sell his specials on his own website and maintain the relationship with his core fan base throughout his cancellation. Louis C.K. proved that if you are funny and apologize, your fans will forgive you.
C.K. won a Grammy for his 2020 comedy special in which he joked about the sexual misconduct revelations against him.
Did the Grammys snub the Cancel Culture Club?
Louis won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album, and that album was the album he did where he's like, I asked everyone's consent and they said yes, and I was like, what are the fucking odds, you know?
It was official. Louis C.K. defeated cancel culture and won a Grammy for it. He reframed the accusations against him into satire, as a true comic would. Then he followed this up when he sold out Madison Square Garden again for the release of his most recent comedy special, Back to the Garden.
I'm very glad you're here. I'm really grateful. I know that it's not easy being my fan these days. I know that all of you have one person who doesn't know you're here.
In the end, some of his critics came full circle and started to use what Louis did in their comedy too.
This is my quick story about the wonderful time that the very thoughtful Louis C.K. asked my consent. I get emotional thinking about it because it was so sweet of him.
It's clear that Louis C.K. cannot be cancelled, regardless of the circumstances or the claims against his name. He's simply too smart, too well-connected, and ultimately too funny to ever be cancelled. But not every comedian is like this. There's only a handful of talented comedians who can survive this intense scrutiny and come back even better. And, luckily for you, we made videos about the cancellations some great comedians have beat. So, click here to watch.